Hello, friends from Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm Alejandro Villegas. I'm right here with Ethan Skolnick. Well, I'm here. He's over there at American Airlines Arena right now, right before the Miami Heat Charlotte Hornets game. And obviously, after that tough loss against the Philadelphia 76ers, this becomes a really important game for the Miami Heat to try to come back to the right track. 11 wins in the first 14 games, 15 games. So the team's doing really well right now. But if they lose tonight and then have to travel to Houston, then you can start getting into a losing streak that you don't want to get into. So tonight's game should be really easy, should be an easy game for the Miami Heat, but you can really be too confident about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Heat have beaten up on bad teams, and they've beaten up on teams at home. So, I mean, this is both tonight, and so you would assume that they would cruise tonight. It's pretty much the same group they've had, same starting lineup tonight, Myers Leonard with Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, and Kendrick Nunn. So the same starters that they've had the past, I guess, several games at this point. I think it's 10 games that they've gone with this particular group. So this group's comfortable together. Obviously, there were some weaknesses that showed up. You should listen to our podcast. We had Alex and Alf kind of fighting about that today. But there were some weaknesses that showed up in the Philadelphia game. I do think that we have to be careful not to make too much of it. In the same way that you can't make too much of what happened with the Heat in Houston, because obviously the game in Houston is going to be a lot different than the one here. I don't think you can make too much of the one in Philadelphia. Christian Hernandez put this on Twitter today, and it's a really good point and a really good stat. The Heat shot 27% on open, uncontested shots against Philadelphia. Philly shot more than 50% on the same kinds of shots. So sometimes you just miss shots. I'm not saying that they would have won the game, but that happens in the NBA, and it steamrolls on itself, and you end up in that kind of situation. The big news today, though, I did ask Erik Spoelstra, and I guess I got a different answer than they got at shoot-around, because at shoot-around he was vague about it. Pre-game, he was very direct. Justise Winslow is expected to practice tomorrow. So I know Heat fans think he's in a coma somewhere or something. I don't know what they think. Witness protection. He will.
No, but that's okay. They're being careful about it.
Well, they're being careful now, right, Alejandro? Like I think there's some question about why he went back into that game in Denver when he ended up having a concussion that kept him out almost 3 weeks. But I think part of the problem that Heat fans are having here is they're not thinking of this in an NFL context, right? Like a lot of times in the NFL, a guy will have a concussion, he'll miss 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But that's only 2 to 3 games. Now, in the NBA, 2 to 3 weeks is like 8 or 9 games. And so I think that what's happened here is that Heat fans are like, oh, he's been out forever. He really hasn't. He's just missed a lot of game time. And it's going to be one of the big stories of this season. I said it before the year, and it continues. How did Jimmy Butler and him look offensively? They're going to look great defensively. They've only played about 2.5 games together in the regular season so far. They haven't had time. They haven't had any reps.
I was going to say that because at the beginning of the year, it was Butler out because of his son, his daughter, whatever. And then he came back. Justise Winslow went down.
Yep.
And now we see how maybe we're needing more Justise Winslow because of what happened against the Sixers. And I heard Alex and Alf going about it for about an hour.
Yeah.
But thinking now that you have this news for the Miami Heat fan base, how much has the Miami Heat missed Justise Winslow? Thinking more, going beyond the record, which is really good, but in matchups, in hard matchups like the one they're gonna have in Houston, they're gonna need him.
Yeah, no, Alejandro, I think it does depend on the matchup, very much so. Against bad teams, a player like Justise is not as valuable because they typically don't have 2 elite perimeter or wing players, right? But the really good teams have 2+ players at those positions, which means that it's got to be Jimmy Butler and somebody else to handle them. And they don't really have a somebody else without Justise Winslow. It's not defensively. It's not Kendrick Nunn. It's not Goran Dragic. It's not Tyler Hero. It's not Duncan Robinson, right? They don't even have Derrick Jones Jr. right now, although he supposedly is getting closer, although Erik Spoelstra will not clear him for Wednesday. He says he may practice tomorrow. So, I think for those kind of matchups against the better teams, then Winslow becomes much more important to them. And I think we saw that against Philadelphia. I keep saying this. People are like, where's Justise going to fit? Justise Winslow was leading the Heat in minutes when he went out.
Yeah.
He's not going from leading the Heat in minutes to back into the bench, okay? He's going to play significant minutes. I think he'll be a starter when he comes back.
Will he be in the same position he was before he got injured?
Yes, I think so. I think so. To me, the question is Nunn or Robinson. The question is Nunn or Robinson. And I think that the issue that you've got is if it's not Nunn, if he's going to come off the bench, then what happens there, because then you have Nunn, Hero, and Dragic, which is 3 small guards at those positions.
Yeah. Okay, it gets harder that way.
Off the bench, yeah.
Yeah, off the bench. Now, talking about tonight's game, what
Mhm.
should we expect from the Miami Heat after that awful game on Saturday?
Yeah, I think they'll be fine tonight. I mean, Charlotte just doesn't have enough material. I think they've played a little above their heads so far this year, but I had Charlotte, and look, obviously they've gotten great production from the second-year guard that nobody was anticipating. But I think if you take a look at Charlotte's roster, I mean, they're going bottom of the barrel at this stage. Like this, I expected this to be one of the 3 worst teams in a bad Eastern Conference. This is the type of game that the Heat have typically gotten up early and run all over you, and I would expect the same tonight. What's interesting to me is, I mean, we've had really a dichotomy here between the types of teams the Heat have played, right? Like, they've gotten Milwaukee, they've gotten Houston, they've gotten Philadelphia, they've gotten the Lakers, and they've gotten Denver. So they've gotten 5 really good teams, and then they've gotten a bunch of garbage, right? They haven't played kind of the middle-of-the-road teams. They haven't played a Brooklyn. The one I would say they've played is Minnesota, and they lost to them. But again, that was second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah, maybe Atlanta that last year.
Atlanta beat them 3 times last year. Yeah. And the Hawks, I think, have been a disappointment this season. I thought they'd be a little better. But even Detroit, they faced a Detroit team without Blake Griffin, without Reggie Jackson, right? So they've either faced really good teams or really bad teams. Tonight's a really bad team. Wednesday they'll face another really good team who they hammered last time. We'll get another better sense of where they are Wednesday, and I'll be curious to see, if Justise is cleared to play Wednesday, what do they do with him? Do they bring him off the bench in the first game just to get him used to his minutes? Also, Houston is where Justise is from. He tends to get a little hyped when he goes back there. He's going to want to play in this game. They may have to hold him back a little bit, but they're on course. I don't think anything changed Saturday night, except we got a sense that certain matchups, when they don't shoot the ball well and when they don't have their entire roster, are going to be really challenging for them. And Philadelphia is one of those teams, we said before the year, was one of the top 2 teams in the East. And even though they didn't start that way, I still think that's the case.
That's right. And we still haven't had the entire team for 5 games in a row so far during this season. Here we have some questions. Who would you prefer? Duncan coming off the bench? Or I mean, even if Winslow starts on Wednesday, you know how Erik does. He always puts somebody in the starting 5, and that doesn't mean they're going to play the most.
Well, that's true.
Game, right?
Typically, Alejandro, that has been the case, that he's tried to keep the bench core together. Yeah. But I don't really know what the bench core is other than Dragic right now, right? And Olenek. So that's my question is, you could bring Duncan off the bench, but Duncan wasn't really getting minutes before when Winslow was healthy, but Nunn was. So I think they're better off with Duncan in the starting lineup than Nunn. It gives them a little bit more size, but the problem is then off the bench, you're bringing Dragic, Hero, and Nunn off the bench together. So you have 3 guards under 6'5" coming off the bench together with Kelly Olynyk, maybe Derek Jones Jr., maybe James Johnson is the other. They've got a lot of different options. This is why I don't think Dion Waiters plays another minute for this team, even if he behaves. I mean, what do you do with him, right? You got 3 guards like him coming off the bench. So I think, Pat's going to get a sense of this roster and kind of decide, okay, who can we move? Who do we need to move? Yeah. And the roster, I think, is going to look a little different by the trade deadline. I don't really want to get into all this now, but I don't really like the idea of going after the Spurs guys, particularly DeRozan. I'm a big DeRozan fan personally. I think he's a terrible fit from a basketball fit for this team. Aldridge is a little more interesting, but if somebody's posting on Twitter, Aldridge would be able to handle Embiid. LaMarcus doesn't move his feet anymore. He doesn't defend. Okay, so he's a really good mid-range player if you want a mid-range player. So we'll monitor all that. But again, tonight should be easy. If it's not easy, then there are some concerns, but I'm not expecting much trouble tonight.
All right, two subjects real quick. The new uniform from the Miami Heat here, you guys can see it.
Yes.
You like it? Light blue? You like it?
Yeah, I like it. I dig the light blue. I thought the pink went away too quickly, to be honest. But
you like the pink a little more?
Yeah, no, I like the light blue, but they didn't use the pink very much. I'll say this: the Heat marketing staff is undefeated, right? I mean, they do the best work in the league.
They're the best, yeah.
So some of the city edition stuff around the NBA is bad. Like I mean, the Detroit ones are awful. But the Heat gets that stuff right. Although I will say, we have better T-shirts on our site. Go to 5reasonsports.com.
There you go.
We've got a new BAM VP T-shirt, which we jinxed it by throwing it out there the other day. But I was smooth, put that one up there. We got Udonis shirt, Tyler Hero and Jimmy, a Jimmy shirt by his own. Jimmy Canastis, which is your guy's shirt. We don't have a Deion Waiters shirt. I hate to disappoint people, but yeah, check those out on 5 Reasons Sports.
Ethan, before you go, what's going on Wednesday?
We've got a watch party. So Duffy's MVP. Well, Duffy's MVP. That's the Duffy. Use your MVP points. Duffy's in North Miami Beach. It is the best Duffy's you've ever been to. This is not a Duffy's where you go and sit inside. It's by the water. It's an awesome view. It's supposed to be a nice night. We'll have some food. Obviously, we're gonna have some giveaways. I found some 5 Reasons hats today. We'll be giving away some of those T-shirts. So come at 7 o'clock. I can't stay the entire night, so I'll be there through about halftime, but we'll have the rest of the group out there. Let's get out there about 7 o'clock. It's an 8 o'clock game.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Ethan. See you later.
See ya.
Okay, that was Ethan Skolnick right from American Airlines Arena. We're going to read some of your comments. Jimmy Canastas, medium. Yes, you can buy that at 5reasonsports.com. Myers Leonard can defend Joel Embiid. That's right. He suffered a lot. Bam had a better game against him once they had put together. I trade for Adams could handle Embiid, says Jose Gomez. That's a nice picture there of Joel Embiid. Let me see. We would have won a chip if we got Beal. We still got time to get Bradley Beal. Jacquizz Leandre, you think Riley still goes after Beal? Wiz aren't going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you guys for being with us. Remember, you can visit 5reasonsports.com if you're watching this live or at any point during this season to buy your Miami Heat or any Miami sports T-shirts. Go there, visit, click, check them out. Buy some. If you don't like them, you can throw them back and we'll get your money back. And if you're in YouTube right now, you can subscribe to our channel, 5 Reasons Sports, and we're going to be bringing you guys a lot of more content, especially from Miami Heat, especially from American Airlines Arena. Thank you for being with us.